So we're going to be looking at the Bourne Ultimatum, which is the third film of a trilogy of Bourne films. I remember as a kid watching these films and absolutely loving them. Um, so you've got the Bourne Identity, which is very much a character piece, I think, because it's all about who is Jason Bourne. It's about his identity. Um, how do you you've have you seen the Bourne Identity, Saeed?
I've seen all of them.
Okay, great. Um, just quickly on the Bourne Identity, what did you think of that film? How would you describe what it's about?
Yeah, so we have this lost character, this person that has losing his identity. So it's like the central conflict of the film is clear and engaging. This person, this highly trained person that has this muscle memory of everything. Like he knows the stuff, but he has no conscience about it, and he's trying to recover his identity. He has this accidental encounter with a girl, and all the stories that happen to her, and she gets killed and everything. It's engaging. It has a fast pace. It's interesting. All the techniques, all the things that he do as a trained officer, as a trained spy. It was really interesting and fun to watch.
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? So I would say that's a great way to explain actually. Because yeah, he wakes up, he doesn't know who he is, but he seems to know how to fight. He seems to have all these passports given to him of all these different identities, and he doesn't know who he is. Yet for some reason, isn't it the CIA that's trying to kill him? That's trying to get up.
Um, yes, so they try to capture this guy because like they do not like the loose ends. Like one of the programs that always programs like CIA or MI6 have been advertising is that we have these officers, we have these spies all around the world, and
Mm,
because like they're doing our bidding, and we do not want them to trace back to us because it's going to be have problems because we have UN, we have like this all these international entities, international establishments. We want them gone. We want them even if they get captured. We want people that do not give us even on their hardest tortures. So they bring up this plan, this program to wipe out a person memories.
mm,
So even if they get captured, even if they get crucified or anything, they wouldn't talk about anything because they do not want them to be known. So this is all the trade stone and the like black barrier, all about if I'm saying the names right. It's all about erasing the memory of these active officers and activate them at the time that they want because they have like this psychological plans. If you know, like all like so many of our drugs and mind playing drugs that have been used by other people have been made and have been designed by this international by this CIA programs to control mind, to
wow.
control person, to control to like for example to have them under control. So this is like the this is like all of this together. So and
Mm,
as you said, it has an amazing hook. A person that seems to be an important person, seems to have something, or or he's a good killer, or he's a like really important person. Wakes up and like, who I am, what is this, what's going on? So it has a great hook. It has a great conflict, and it's fast paced. I
yeah,
like it. It's
it's a
action.
it's a really good action trilogy,
Yes.
and it's not a generic action film. It's got
Yeah.
it ticks all the boxes of what you'd want in an action film, but there's a lot of depth to the character, and the story is really good. There's a lot to the story, more than just a typical action flick. So I'd say the
Absolutely.
Bourne Identity is very much a character piece where we're just exploring Jason Bourne as a person very well. The Bourne Supremacy, which is the second film, is probably the best at a thriller. There's lots of suspense. But whereas the Bourne Ultimatum, which is the one we're talking about, has the best action out of the three, in my opinion, which is why I thought to look at the action lines for the screenplay out of the three. I thought this would be the best one to see how they write the action lines. So it literally starts with a smash cut. A smash cut is where it's like a very quick cut into action, isn't it? And then it says motion, flat out, it's us, we're running, stumbling, breathing rushed, blood in the snow. So
Yeah.
just from that very first sentence, what impression does that give to the reader, would you say?
So it's yeah, he what he does, and he did it amazingly. He puts reader in the shoes of the character. So like it gives you the first hand experience. Like
Mm,
how would you feel? Like wow, it's us. We are running, you're running, stumbling, breathing rushed, blood in the snow. So you feel, oh my god, something is happening. What is this? What is going on? So like in the page craft, in the reading wise of because before the screen, he does this even in the page,
yeah,
and that is what's amazed me. I mean, like this screenplay is not an artistic screenplay. It's not a artistic movie. It's not a like philosophical movie. It's not, but
no,
it gets the idea. It gets the screen in the
hmm
best way possible. And this is the first example of it.
yeah,
You don't have to see the film. You can see it because it's so easy to read. It's so on the point. Like um, uh, yeah, this is the point of this screenplay. I believe like everybody should read this screenplay, especially as Jordan said, for the page graph of this stuff, because you absolutely can understand. Even not reading, just looking at it, you see all these paragraphs as we go down. Mostly, I can say like each paragraph is a shot. So
yes, that,
even the screenplay has been divided by paragraphs, and each paragraph is a shot. As you and me know, and filmmakers know, shot is the the tiniest, the building block of a scene. And like scenes go together and they make sequence, and then sequence make chapter, and chapter, of course chapter is for novel, and then like the movie. So like when we say shot, it's like from the time the camera goes record until it stops recording.
mm,
So this is so good of the screenwriter to put all of these shots right together in a paragraph. It's so easy to read.
it
It's
makes
so
it,
easy to picture.
yeah, it makes it easier to see the picture when you're reading it, doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
you can see the movie, as you were saying.
Yes, and this is what I believe. Like this is like the name. This is like the ultimate example of a page graph that we can go for anything. It doesn't matter, and I believe that in any genre, we should go for this. Make it so vivid, make it so easy to read, make it comes to mind so easily, so we can, as Jordan said, we can have the easiest contact, the easiest manifestation of our movie in reader's mind.
100%. I was just thinking for this opening line, we have these double dashes in there. And I think double dashes can be a great tool to use in your screenplay. Um, it's kind of like an interruption, it suggests like a rapid cut to the next beat.
Yes,
And like what we were saying,
exactly.
it's like cut, 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 motion flat
Yeah,
out. It's us
that's right.
running, stumbling.
Exactly.
It's telling
Yeah.
us there's lots of fast cuts in this moment. Um, I like to use these when I'm writing dialogue. When the characters are interrupting each other, it kind of suggests that they're talking in fast pace. And actually, Aaron Sorkin does this with his dialogue a lot because he likes to write with fast paced dialogue. So you can use it for dialogue, but you can also use it for the action lines as well when you want to think about the cutting. I like that. We are Jason Bourne. So it's saying we're in his perspective.
Yeah.
It's like we're watching it from his point of view. We are Jason Bourne.
Yes.
And we're running down an alley. Dot dot dot. Uh, Moscow. So it's telling us where we are. Blue lights from the distance, strobing through the night, rushing towards us. Police cars through them. So yeah, again, it's using double dashes a lot.
Yes.
Closer, faster until they whip past the alley. Yeah, this is great.
And then the story goes further. Like three of them, sirens howling as they bear down. Like I think this is the scene where there's like policemen are looking for him, and he goes to the pharmacy, and they come and they go, okay, hands up, and like, my fighting is not with you, and he like drops them with his fast moves.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's clearly an action sequence that the film starts on. It jumps straight into the action, and the pagecraft clearly tells us this. Um, and it gives us all the information as we see it in the film. So yeah, that's something to take note of, definitely.
There's something interesting is about the scene headings. Um,
Oh
it's a
yeah.
bit different. You know, it's the exterior interior comes first, and then the time comes.
Oh yeah.
In
I was
most
just
part,
thinking,
yeah,
interior
yeah,
night, and then it's the location.
yes, and they're like dash dash Moscow, and it's because like this is a kind of movie that happening in like many countries. So like I wouldn't say that this would be like the industry, professional. I'm not sure, but like because like we go to so many places, like could be a solution.
Mm. Yeah. So because to keep the audience not confused, or to keep the
Yeah,
reader following where we
yeah,
are in the world, because they jump to lots of different countries, they have the country last. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, maybe something like that. Because like we are in Moscow, we are in Tinzar, if I'm not mistaken. We are in London. We go all these different places. We are in USA, New York. So we go to so many places. So this is why maybe this is a solution for writer to keep the reader posted.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, yeah,
point.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point. And I do think it might not be the rules, but do you know what? If it works for the screenplay, I think just do it.
yeah, yeah,
Do it.
exactly. Yeah, there's no rules. Just like structures to just like make it universal reading. Maybe something like this is something that we as readers, writers should be always aware of to make our screenplays as universally readable as we can.
Yeah, 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 100%. 100%. So yeah, that's a great point actually what you made. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the pharmacy. He tries to tap him up. Some police comes and they like he fight them off. And he's like, and this is really important because like when the other policeman when he gets guns into him, I think it's further down, and he was like, "Don't kill me." Like I don't know. He says like, "I have a family or something." Maybe I can find the dialogue.
Oh yeah, we got the flashback.
Yeah, we
Point
got the flashback. Yeah,
cops approaching, flashback. See, the flashback is very backwards and forwards. Flashback
yeah.
this, pharmacy, flashback. Um, and then back to the pharmacy. Please enter the back room, guns drawn, put your hands on your head and turn
Oh yeah,
around.
this is where the policemen get into the pharmacy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Bourne snaps out of it, doesn't move. Policeman one older. So if there's multiple police officers, they name them policeman one, policeman
Yeah,
two,
yeah,
and then they define them differently by putting in brackets older, just so we know
yeah.
there's a difference between the two, which is probably a good thing to do. Um,
Oh, here, my argument is not with you. So this
mm,
is really interesting because, like in the beginning of the movie, we have like this deep personality thing out of Jason. He's a righteous guy. He's not just like I'm a killer, like I'm gonna kill everyone because I can do. No, it's like I'm not. I don't have anything to do with you. There's something else I'm looking for. So, like for example, for me, that I started the Jason Bourne franchise with this movie. I started with this movie. So I
mm,
haven't watched the Jason Bourne like Identity and Supremacy, so I didn't know anything about it. But like starting the opening sequence with this kind of a thing, I was at the time I was a kid. I was like, okay, now this is a righteous guy. This is who I like. This is a hero. Like he can kick your ass. He can kill you, but he doesn't kill you for just no reason.
yes, exactly. Which is important to have because otherwise the audience might not be on his side and it might
Yeah,
think he's a bad guy. We want to make sure his intentions are good.
yeah. Everybody loves a Sigma. Like a
Yeah,
loner. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, so this opening scene does this. It tells you what Bourne is about. It's telling the audience that he's an interesting character. So did you say you watched this film first before the other two films?
Yes. Yeah. I was a kid and like I went to my cousin's home one day and they were like they're watching this film. I was like, okay, what is this? And at that time we should understand that like we didn't have internet like that. Like we had DVDs.
Mm.
You remember that, right?
Or DVDs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like we had DVDs, and especially in Iran, because like we didn't have that much like it was something illegal to
Oh,
have. If like police would find you with like DVD or something that is illegal, you would be arrested because of it.
wow.
Yeah.
So it was hard to get hold of these
Me
films.
and you, we are not the same person, man.
No, this is so interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember that they were watching this, and like I was crazy, like a crazy movie kid, as I was always.
Mm.
I see some scenes, and I'm talking to my cousin. He's older than me. I'm like, okay, what is this? And he's like, I'm gonna bring it to you. I'm gonna bring the DVD. We're gonna watch it one
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
and I just loved it. Yeah, and like there was the first time that my cousin, oh, that's Matt Damon. I'm like, oh, cool.
Matt Damon is cool. I love Matt
Yeah.
Damon. So yeah, so opening sequence, first 2 pages is an action sequence to get the audience interested in the film and to tell us a little bit about our character that we're following, Jason Bourne, and to show us that he's an interesting guy. Then Bourne exits, black screen, a title fades in, the Bourne Ultimatum, which is such a cool way to open a film. If you
Do
want,
you know about the super? Ollie, do you know about like super 6 weeks later?
I don't know what super means. Do you know what that means?
So super have different uses as I understood. Like we have do you see like in the movies we have like texts
Yeah,
to show a place or a time. So this
yeah.
is one use. Like this could be another use. Like you wanna start your film in a location and you won't bring it in a headings. You can use super.
Really?
Like this is yeah. I like this is two usage that I have found. Um, but like I was hoping for you for more information.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know actually. I assumed it meant just subtitle, subheading, like it came onto the
It's,
screen.
it's
It's like,
superimposed. It's some kind of a text over image. So when it says super 6 weeks layers, it means like in the screen we have like 6 weeks layers um on the image.
it's Katie has just moved into his job. I love this line. There are unhung pictures and a few other items that indicate he has just moved into his job. So it's
Mm,
explaining to us the character, but it's doing it through what we see. So
yeah,
we're only seeing a few things. We're seeing unhung pictures, which is suggesting to the audience, which it would when we're watching it, that he's only just moved into his job. Um, so yeah, that's important.
and maybe we don't have to say that. Maybe we just say that there are unhung pictures on his desk.
Yeah,
Maybe we
we
don't
don't.
say that
We,
indicate he has moved into the job. Yeah.
yeah, because yeah, exactly. It kind of speaks for itself. I told you people to leave me alone. I fell off the grid. I was halfway around the world. There's no place I won't catch up to you. It's how every story ends. It's what you are, Jason, a killer. You always will be. I find this interesting as well. Another bit that's really interesting. We don't know who Jason Bourne is, but the way the CIA talks about him makes us interested. Like, who is he? They don't tell us too much information, the CIA. They talk about him without telling us exactly who he is. So we're waiting to find out who he really is. And then but it's done it in a way that feels organic, that feels natural. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
like he's really dangerous. Like they're really scared about him, but we don't understand why they're so
Yeah.
scared about him. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yes, yes, and there's
Um,
there's something really interesting addition to this, and I think like this is really important, story wise and character wise. So like you have this character, Jason Bourne, and like
yeah.
different person, different people in the movie, they have different idea, different interpretation of this guy. Like someone would say that he's a killer. Someone would say that he's a righteous man. Someone would say he's just lost and he's scared. Someone
Mm,
would say like he just wants to finds the truth. And like this is really interesting because it gives you the conflict in the purest and more engaging way. Something that is internal and external at the same time. So internal about Jason himself, that is going this path to find the truth that who he is,
Mhm.
because he had this identity crisis in the
Yeah,
inside and in the outside. Like we have all these different forces that they want to track Jason, they want to kill Jason, because like they have their own mind about Jason, that who he is, that he is
exactly.
the killer. So this is really interesting. Like the dramatic wise, it's gonna give you these two faces, the internal and the external, and they both are related. And that
Yes,
is what makes an amazing story, amazing screenplay.
it is. Yeah, really well said. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. It's so clever because we're watching this film through Jason Bourne's point of view. So we're learning everything he learns, we're learning at the same time. So we're on this journey with him about who he is.
Only how it's directed that way, but how it was written that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The way it's written, the
Yes, that is
information. Yeah,
really important. Like because if the screenplay wasn't like that, the director would do a great job of showing that. But the writer, it's actually making this way.
yeah.
And this is what really amazes me. Something like, for example, every time that I would go for a screenplay, I would go, okay, like the screenplay that has been awarded a lot of prizes or everything. I'm like, no, like there's a writer right here that he's doing this the best way possible. So
Mhm.
vivid, it's so simple.
There's a really good page. There's a really good scene on page 51 that I really want to show you because this is what
Yeah,
we're talking about um, how you say people see Jason Bourne differently. Some people think he's a good guy, some people think he's a killer, etc.
yeah,
There's a really and about in terms of giving information, only so much information to the audience. Bourne is talking to Nikki, and then Bourne asks her, "Why are you helping me?" And then Nikki says, "It was difficult for me, dot, 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 with you." Bourne looks up, another long pause, because a pause is a good way to indicate there's subtext. "You really don't remember anything?" And he says, "No." And we don't know what she's talking about because we're in Jason Bourne's head. So
yeah,
he's asking her, "Why are you helping me? Why are you being so kind to me? You know, um, why are you taking pity on him?" Um, and there's a little hint that they've had a past relationship when she says, "It was difficult for me, dot, 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 with you." So it's a great way of subtext that adds depth to the character and changes our perspective of the other two movies. Because now we understand this subtext, we think, oh, so maybe there was a past relationship, and then you can go back and watch the other two films and watch it with a different perspective because now you have this information. Does that make sense?
yeah,
So two new texts plus the three we met before, all watching Vossen lead Landley and Cronin into the room. And we've got dialogue here. Uh, pretty that description is very straightforward. There's not much more needed to be said.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You don't really describe the room, or it's very much who the people are, what they're
No,
doing.
because we have been inside the room before.
Oh,
This
so,
is why
yeah,
he doesn't give
yeah,
any additional description.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So a great point to make. If we've already been in a location, you don't need to describe the location again when we're there again. You can, cut straight to the chase with it. We have dialogue from Willis, blah, 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 blah. Landy stepping in before this gets going. And then we've got the double dash to indicate there's an interruption. So it's
Yeah,
fast.
he's like he goes for it, and yeah, he's like, okay, say your names and what you do, and Landy goes, okay, no, let's do the names later. We have to do, for example. Yeah.
Exactly. And then underline anybody. So when a word is underlined, it's showing there's emphasis on that specific word.
Yes,
So
exactly. And in the film, she's like, anybody. She's like, oh, like, why nobody answers me? Yeah.
exactly. And tech number 3, I like how they got numbers. London, 1200 Zulu. Status, wounded, armed, alive, mobile, unknown. Yeah, very quick dialogue.
Yeah.
Where your crew is coming from. NSA, tactical, tech number 1. Blah, 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 blah. All very short dialogue to indicate that it's fast paced. I'm guessing. I haven't seen the film in a while, but I've read the screenplay recently, so I assume this bit's all quite fast paced. You're 9 hours behind the toughest target you've ever tackled. I want everyone to sit down, strap in, and turn on all you've
Oh my
got.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, beat, a slight pause. That would mean now. That lights
Yeah.
it. They're moving. I love
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
line.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, that lights it. They're moving. Very straightforward. Two full stops, like two short sentences to capture the moment. Thank you. So you can just by reading, you can feel the tone of the characters. This is what they
Yeah.
mean by this is what they mean by when you read a screenplay and the characters are coming out of the page. You know, when people
Yeah.
say that, it's like this. You can see it in your eyes when you're reading it because of the way it's written. It captures the tension, it captures the feeling of the scene through the
And
rhythm.
he does it really good. He does it really good. It's really interesting for me because like
Yeah.
this concept, this character coming out of a page, I'm feeling this more than anything else. Like I never experienced such a rating.
Would you rate this as one of the best written action screenplays?
You know, as an actually, yeah, I would because, like, for example, you know, my love for Martin McDonough, Aaron Sorkin, you know,
Yeah.
Sean Baker. So I'm like, I love those screenplays. But I gotta tell you, I don't know. Maybe this is something that I'm mistaken. Maybe it's because of the genre. But like for example, for me, it's so easy to read this one. It's so easy to read. Ultimatum Bourne. I don't know. It is something about the writing, or maybe it's because of the genre. Because, for example, those movies are more drama, so they need another kind of writing. And because this is action, it's more fast paced, more easy to read. I don't know. I'm not sure. But like, I never read a screenplay so easy in my life.
Yeah, it's so easy to read, and that's the most important thing as a screenwriter. You want to make it easy to read. So if you're ever going to write an action film or even just an action sequence, this is how you should do it. This is like a blueprint. This is like a
Yeah.
great example.
Yeah, exactly. And go down. I want to show you something.
Yeah.
So they're in Madrid. Oh, like here, like see, like this is so interesting. Bourne arrives, begins to recon the area. Stop.
Mm.
He goes to the front door, finds Saul and Marbury, and rings the bell. No answer. Two cops come around a corner. Third, Bourne sees them, knows the side of the buildings, and leave.
So simple.
Yeah,
That's all you
absolutely.
need to do. That's all you need
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, I know, and I'm a bit, I'm a bit oblivious to it. I don't know if this kind of writing can it be used in like every genre.
Yeah, that's a
This is
good
what,
question.
yeah, I don't know that, but like if we could, that would be amazing because like it's just so good, so easy.
Mm. Yeah, I do think no matter what genre you write in, the main goal as a screenwriter is to make it clear and so that you can see the film. So whatever genre you're writing in, you need to write it in a way that fits that genre. And I think for future calls, we'll look at different genres. We'll look at a screenplay from each genre so we can piece the page craft. I think we should do this actually more, actually. Have the
Yeah,
screenplay up and we'll look at different films but from different genres and look at the
yeah,
page.
yeah, absolutely. Ross moves across a narrow walkway. Now he's behind a mechanical tri-panel hoarding. The kind that displays a different advert every five. This is the time that that killer is planning to kill that reporter.
Mm.
So this is a really good example. You can read that. See how the paragraphs are so vivid and so easy to imagine it in your head.
So now he's behind a mechanical tri-panel hoarding, the kind that displays a different advert every 15 seconds. Full stop. He waits for the change and then double
And
dash,
then a huge field of vision.
and then a huge field of vision across the concourse stretching out down below him. A sniper's heaven. I love that. A sniper's heaven.
Mm.
Paz PAZ pulling open the motor casing from the side panel goes to work on it. slowing the rotation, rearranging the large triangular prism to give him just the right time gap to pull the trigger dash and just enough to cover to disappear, sorry. He takes out he takes out rifle parts from his rucksack, starts to assemble them. Boom, boom, boom. Lots of short sentences.
Yeah,
Um,
I
yeah,
love it.
it's really easy to read, and
Yeah,
screenwriting is not good writing. Like you wouldn't want to read this in a novel, would you? It's not good writing if you're reading it in a book. But as a
yeah,
screenplay, this is good writing.
yeah.
Hmm.
I do not see any what's the word, like complicated word, or like complicated adjectives, or like adverbs, like the things that you see in novel. It's so easy.
Never use big words just to make you sound more clever. Don't
Yeah,
don't don't try and be clever with your words. Don't try and use big sounding words just to make you sound smart. Go for the most simplest words you can. Obviously, you want it to be concise, so sometimes you want to use a bigger word to concise the sentence down, but ultimately using simple words is the best way to go about it. He takes out the rifle, parts from the rucksack, starts to assemble them. Um,
and then he
and then,
cuts. Bourne he's talking to Ross, and he's saying like, "Okay, like what do you know? I'm gonna get you safety and everything."
yeah, Ross snaps the focus, looks Bourne in the eyes. Yes, stay here while I look for an escape. Ross nods, and then it's like a whole sequence now. I think lots of
Yeah,
changes between um, different scenes. And it's not saying day, day, day. It's not saying the time of day because it's self-explanatory that this is clearly happening all in a
yeah,
sequence. So it
yeah,
just has interior location,
yeah.
interior
Interior,
location,
yeah.
blah, 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 blah,
And
blah.
then like it cuts to the hub, and people like are working on it to
Yeah.
finding it. Yeah,
CCTV view of the silver door behind the rushes that Ross is behind, not Bourne. So why is this bit underlined?
CCTV of the civil door behind. Maybe like because like in this scene, they're using CCTV in Waterloo Station to find Jason and the reporter, the Ross. So I think that for example, they're expecting that Bourne would be behind the door, maybe something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, you see the dialogue there. That silver door. Bourne's behind that door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bourne that
So
door.
they think, yeah, they like think that it's gonna be Bourne behind the door.
It's not, yeah, exactly, which is why that bit's underlined is telling us, by the way.
And this is how he does it. Like um the agents, they go after Bourne, but they actually going after Ross, and then like Bourne cuts behind them and like take them out one by one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's an amazing sequence. I love it.
It's a great sequence. I'm just scrolling down a little bit. Scope POV, I like that. It's like its own heading, Scope POV. So it's thinking about the filmmaker there.
Um,
It's seeing like what the audience will be seeing. And that's okay. I think occasionally you can put a camera, if it's important for the screenplay, you can write point of view or close up. You don't want to direct the film on the page, you're only the screenwriter.
yeah,
But I do think occasionally, if you were to do scope POV, I think that's okay because it's like key information. It's like you need it to be like this for this scene to work. And then the scene continues, intercutting between Ross and Bourne. So obviously they're in two different locations, but if you're very quickly cutting between two people in two different locations, you can just write intercutting between Ross and Bourne, and then you can just have the dialogue there as if they're in the same room, but they're in different rooms. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so from this page, it's very direct and very concise. It's a good way, it has good description. It's visual in its tone, and it tells you only what's important, which is what we've been saying throughout. And it begins with, I think it's Bourne, isn't it, that steals the car,
Mhm.
peeling, which means like
Peeling,
he's
peeling out.
he's he's driving away. Vossen is racing across town. Again, nothing. We don't need any more than that because this is a fast-paced scene. We're not going to have a big block of description. It just says Vossen races across town. Nothing more needed to be said. And then the next scene shows Bourne getting recognized by a pursuing police car. Each beat of action is kind of like a scene in its own right, isn't it? So interior car,
Yes.
exterior street. Um, I think it just gives a great sense of pacing. And in this page, it's clear that one page equals to just 1 minute, which is like the general rule. Um,
Yeah.
so so it's the way it's laid out, each scene, it's kind of done that in a way so you understand how long the scene is going on for. Um, so for example, if it's a quick scene, it's like just one sentence, um, things like that. So yeah, I think this is like a really good way of writing, um, like a chase scene. I'm thinking what else. One technique that I found, the double dash, it does that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing double dash from now on.
And then moving on to the next page, the sequence continues to be clear and concise to make the reader understand the high speed of the chase. Um, One thing of interest here is the use of the dialogue at the top half of the page. So this bit, the characters are very blunt about telling us where they are heading, which I think is quite interesting. So he's heading up for Port Authority. Um, Lethal force is authorized. I told again. So I think this is important to have as dialogue because the action is so fast. I think it's called exposition, where the characters are telling us what we're seeing, what is happening. And usually you're not allowed to use exposition dialogue. But I'd argue this is exposition dialogue, but I think it's actually good because it's telling you what he's doing. He's heading to this location, but it's important
Yeah.
to have because it's quite confusing. I think the audience might get confused where we are in the scene, what location we're at. So having exposition dialogue like this is actually quite good. Would you agree with that?
Yes. And because they are like these military people, like they have to log every time. So it just makes sense.
Yeah.
And as you said, it will make the reader or the audience dizzy about everything.
Yeah. By having the location being told us by through dialogue, it kind of acts like a compass for the audience to reposition themselves into the action of where they are in case they get lost or confused. So um especially with how Paul Greengrass films this. He's well known for using shaky cam, for using
Mm,
shaky, like the camera's
yeah.
shaking, so you get quite distorted. So having dialogue like this is really important to keep us aware of where we are in the scene. Series of shots. Cops and CRI cars closing on Port Authority. One agent jumps out of his car on 8th Avenue and rushes for the stairs. So series of shots is good. You don't need to.
Yes, exactly.
It's just telling us there's a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
Um, and then this scene is where Bourne is in the car park. Now it changes because there's more lines, there's more paragraphy now, isn't it? Uh,
Yes.
it's kind of telling us that maybe it's slowing down a little bit. It's giving us more details before of the location, isn't it? I think the great thing about the screenplay is that it doesn't box the filmmaker into a specific way of making the film. It's um, it's communicating of what the audience will experience, and in that respect, it's a well-written screenplay because you can see the film, but the way it's shot, like when it says like a series of shots, and here where a lot of things are happening in quick succession, I think it gives room for the filmmaker to play around a lot with the scene. For us screenwriters to take note, you want to write in a way that gives room for the filmmaker to play around, to have a lot to play around with. If you want to sell your screenplay, you want filmmakers to read it and be like, oh yeah, I can do a lot with this. And I think a good way to get filmmakers to think like that is to write more like this, where you're kind of just giving straight up, boom, 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 this happens, this happens, this happens, like a lot of series of shots. And then the filmmaker can play around with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah.